The data shows that approximately 1 in 4 individuals in Wisconsin suffer from mental health and behavioral health issues. So it's evident that the HW Endowment should invest resources to support our communities in the hurdle of overcoming these issues.
There are a few success stories that I would love to highlight among the many that we've already seen. The Lac du Flambeau tribal community have instituted a program called Family Circles. And this is what we call a culture as prevention.
I say Boozhoo and Maungni Duke. It's hello, my relatives. Boozhoo, Ojibwe, Indigenous cause. My Indian name is Big Buck. Swagin and Dujba Shnabi and Dao from the Fish Clan. I live in Lac du Flambeau with Swagin. Get your money to the college Nungu, Maindam Damgu, Peg Shigatasan, Maska Kinova. And the coach our shows been by HG would Zana Winnie Mishnum, Zana Mission Bijikinoma. Madushan the Muskauzi one, Madushan the Muskauzi one, Mushim Dan Moon, Ghana Winnie Mishnum, Ghana Mission Dungu, Nabamadap and the whole same one would have called them Maungni Duke, the how Megachia Bay.
It allows the community to reconnect with their cultural practices and their language. It's a program that they had years and years ago, but with HW's funding, we're allowed to reinstate it, reinvigorate it, bring it back to the community. And the response from the community has been amazing.
So basically, as I'm reading my Indian name, I'm talking to the Great Spirit, the one God that we connect to in our higher power. Just asking that knowledge and that good health as our grandmothers and grandfathers taught us, and give us those good teachings and look over us, extend His hand, watch all over us today as we accept this tobacco and that good life, accept this tobacco. And we're looking for that strength, and I'm thanking them for today. My Indian name, Big Buck, and the Fish Clan, just thanking everybody here today. And that's a greeting that we do in our language to open up in the things we do in Indian country, in our communities, in our Family Circles program.
I think one of the most powerful for everyone was when we went to visit the Lac du Flambeau tribe and learned about the history there. And I think when you get immersed and really learn the history, their approach to culture as a way of prevention and getting young people connected to the culture of their community and their history as a way to prevent those behaviors that lead people down a negative path, we could see more clearly why that's an effective strategy and how they do it and how meaningful it was to the communities.
One of the things in our presentations leading up to being funded was the opportunity to express. This is a win-win opportunity, for MCW partners and also Indian country, being one of the 10 projects, because this could set the framework for other tribal nations possibly, as we roll this out. So other tribal nations could say, hey, Lac du Flambeau Swagling had funding from MCW and the partners.
In the Lac du Flambeau tribal community, that coalition, the Health Community Action Team, decided that they wanted to bring back a program that they had 20 or more years ago called Family Circles. Family Circles works on the principle of culture as prevention. That is, if you teach traditional culture to your community, that will help prevent mental illness as well as alcohol and other substance abuse.
We're located in Lac du Flambeau Indian Reservation. It's in Vilas/Oneida counties, a little bit into Iron County. So those 3 counties are represented. We do extend our work into other tribal nations that are in the proximity, like Bad River's about 60 miles. We've done some work with Forest County, Potawatomi, it's not too far down the road.
It's a long program, but families come to it. They come every week. They share food, they share stories, and they are breaking down the barriers of talking about difficult issues, talking about mental health and substance use.
But one of the things that we identified was a Family Circles program that was written over 30 years ago by now our elders, Ernie St. James and my father, Dr. Eldon Sonny Smart. So if you can rewind 30 years ago, when they were 30 years younger, when they were the junior elders writing this curriculum, and they wrote this curriculum visiting other elders in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, all over the Midwest. What are some of the best practices and values of having folks be well in their communities? And so they did all these interviews and they compiled all this information to a curriculum.
So we started looking at how to help families and individuals come from families, and so we had to take a look at programs to help families, just not individuals, but how could you get to really interact with more people?
A lot of people come from very difficult lives that they eventually decide that because they've been treated so bad that nobody cares, that they're worthless. And it's very difficult to treat anybody with kindness and respect and love and tenderness and sharing if you can't do that for yourself. So that's where our curriculum began.
You know, we wanted to do 2 groups per year, 15 families per cohort, so 30 families per year at 18 weeks. And so we broke the curriculum down to 18 weeks. Then also we did some training in the summer. You know, we wanted to train more facilitators that could actually implement the curriculum. And so right now, currently, we're up to 22 facilitators that have been trained.
We have a responsibility, our roles as men in our community and in our tribe is to be an uncle. And I always hope to do things with my life that you will always look at me as your uncle. But the important thing is that you my purpose is for you to say, I want my boys to be like him. And you tell your boys, see what he's doing, watch him. And that's our role as men in our community.
Our hope is that the resources and the capacities that have been built within the backbone organizations in each community, as well as those coalitions, will strengthen the communities and enable behavioral health strategies to live on.
My boy's been part of family circles growing up with it. And so a lot of our students in the building know on Wednesdays, they know what family circles is about. And so really be able to develop, you know, junior facilitators as they're expressing. And one thing we'll be able to incorporate is our mission statement and our program goals. And so our young people are actually reading this mission statement and the goals as 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. So by reading this, it's being in their minds that the seeds are being planted. And so that's really the goal, to really shape the future.